Community Development Authority. Today is August 10th. And first is roll call.
Nelson.
Here.
Crow. I think Randall maybe cannot hear us. Lori.
Here.
Bedingfield.
Here.
I do not see Oaks, Weber, or Wakely. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and Randall, can you hear us?
I'm texting him
Okay, because I think he needs to be able to hear us to be
to be able to vote, to be able to.
Yeah.
Okay, he's looking, so he's probably got that text. He says no. Can you exit and re-enter?
Oh, he's
Can you hear us now?
Yep, now I can. And one
Excellent.
more button.
All right. Thank you, Randall.
Sorry.
All right, so we did a roll call, Randall, so we see you, and now that we can hear you, we can move on. Do we have any changes to the minutes of the July 13th CDA meeting? Hearing none?
Actually, I have one.
Yes.
My name does not have an E on the end.
Oops. Okay.
It's just like the bird.
Okay, we will make the correction.
Thank you, Alder Crow. With that correction throughout the document, I'm going to go ahead and accept the minutes of the Community Development Authority July 13th meeting. And moving on to agenda items, first up, financial reports. Abby, can you help us get started?
Yes, I will pull up the financial reports. I apologize that I sent these out a little late. The version that I got from our finance department had broken links in it. So when I went to open it and make it into a PDF, I realized I could not actually view it. So I had to ask them for a new version. So this is where we're at with the financial report. You can see we're doing really well on our interest on investments. We had only budgeted 1,000, but because interest rates increased, we've earned over 10,000 in interest this year. I see that at 5:34, Kari has joined. Hi, Kari.
Hi.
On other items, the Edward Jones rent, we were kind of unknown on that because, as you all know, Edward Jones is planning to vacate the space at some point. That is still their plan. They're moving to the building that's right behind City Hall here that used to house the chamber. But they're still paying rent and they're still in the space for now. A big item I had flagged for us at the last meeting is the snow removal. Costs are quite a bit higher than what we had budgeted. So when we go to talk about the budget for 2024, we need to decide what the game plan is for that. And it is 5:34, and I see that also Wakely has joined. Hi, Quinn. Moving on. One item where there is an error here, you can see that the CDA event sponsorship is showing that we're over budget. Unfortunately, one of the downtown event coordinators had been coding the Stonehorse Green programming to the incorrect account. So this Stonehorse Green programming account will go up substantially, and then it will come out of the CDA event sponsorship. So that will get corrected here with the next batch of corrections with finance. Let's see here. I think that those were really the items to note on this report. Let me pull up the second report here. Okay, can you all see the second report, or do I need to stop share and reshare? Got it? Okay. I probably should have shown this one first. So you can see that we have about 627,000 in unrestricted cash. We still have some outstanding down payment assistance loans that I expect we're gonna get repaid very soon. Trying to think. The transfer in from TIP District 3 has not yet come in, so we'll need to make that prior to the end of the year. That's in the amount of 120,000 for 2023. Other than that, I didn't really have any items to note on the financial report, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
I see Kari has a question.
Hi, thank you, Mayor. So, and I'm sorry, I just had tech problems getting in, but Abby, is there a point at which we are going to talk about, or was it already resolved, the issue with the watering of the planters and the cistern?
We will need to decide whether you want to spend money to repair that, or if you have a different goal in mind. We can probably discuss that unless you think that you want to do that work this year. The cost estimate that we have is 5,000. We could also just talk about it during the 2024 budget discussion.
Okay, that's a thumbs up on that. Sounds good. Any other questions with the finance reports?
This is Katie. I have a quick question. The negative revenue, is that going to change obviously with the transfer in from TID?
This part here.
Yeah.
Yes, so our budget as it's established, it's not sustainable without the revenue coming in from the TIP district. So we're gonna receive $120,000 this year. I am suggesting that we might want to consider asking for additional funds from the TID next year, and then a larger lump sum payment in 2025, because the end of the expenditure period for TIP District 3 ends in 2025. So that's something I've been talking with Bill Burns about, and he's our finance director. He was thinking that there might be an option that would be a larger payment that would cover the 5 years in time between the closure of TIP District 3 and when we might be able to establish a new TIP district that would cover the downtown. And again, just as a reminder to everyone on the call, the reason that the budget is not sustainable is because if you look over here at the fixed assets that we have, we own buildings and we own land, but we basically provide a free space for the Middleton Senior Center to operate out of, so we don't receive revenue from our assets. And then the same with the land that we own. We have surface parking lots, which don't generate revenue, of course. And really the only lease revenue that we receive, aside from a small amount of funds that we lease parking to Middleton Station Apartments, is the Edward Jones space, which will be vacated soon. So.
Those are good topics, good questions, and Abby, very thorough. I appreciate it. Moving on to direction on 2024 budgets, and so we kind of went over some things, which is our annual costs. It's probably good to move on to that.
Okay, so this is the CDA's budget from the last 3 years, what was approved. And then I put together a proposal for 2024. The big changes would be increasing the snow plow budget or the snow removal budget, although if one of the things that the CDA has done in the past is to request that the city include that in their operating budget. That has been a pretty hard sell for the city council during budget time because we are so constrained with our operating budget because of the state levy cap. So we cannot increase the tax levy beyond the net new construction level, which I believe our finance director said is usually between 2.5% and 3.5%, but this year it's less than 2%. So it's going to be even more of a crunch on the operating budget this year than we've had in past years. So I'm not sure if this would be a great year to ask for it, but it's something you could consider. I'm not proposing any changes to senior center building maintenance, downtown marketing assistance, event sponsorship. For the banners and holiday lights, I'm proposing we increase that by 5,000, which would help to cover maybe having some additional lighting at Stonehorse Green. I'm also hoping to apply for a destination marketing grant through Visit Middleton, which the tourism director suggested that I do to enhance the lighting at Stonehorse Green. But regardless, I think we should probably increase that because if we are going to go ahead and store the lights, as we talked about in the last meeting, we would need to pay the $1,200 for the storage unit. And I did look into the other option with the building that the city purchased on Parmenter Street, but that's probably not going to be a very good option for us because there's a possibility that we're actually going to lease that space out to a private entity, which would generate more revenue for the city. So I don't think they're going to want us to put our banners in there instead. The LTE dollar amount is the same, landscaping is the same. I slightly increased miscellaneous expenses, which is misspelled here. That is because we don't usually use this line item for anything. And I was trying to get to a balanced budget at the bottom. And so this was the easiest one to pull from. And then the cost for the part-time employee, both the costs for the salary as well as the FICA, that is set by the finance department. So I just plugged in the numbers that they provided. I increased the interest on investments to 10,000, still showing unknown on Edward Jones. And the remaining items are flat aside from the additional allocation from the TIF budget that I'm suggesting.
Can I ask a question? For the Edward Jones rent, I know that building is requested to have that. Just so you know, that little building is going to have a second floor. So they came in front of Plan Commission. Is that the one?
Yes.
Do you think when that is done is when Edward Jones might? Because I'm trying to think of time estimates. That's probably a good 6 months from now, if not a year.
Longer. Yeah. So I ran into the financial advisor from Edward Jones and he thought that they would move this fall. But then I mentioned, oh, I wasn't sure if that was still going to happen because I saw the plans for that second story. And so I just wasn't sure what the status was. And I'm not sure if he even knew about the plan to expand it. So I know that they are very noise sensitive. Edward Jones, they do not like a lot of noise. So it's possible that that plan would change that for him. I just don't know. I haven't heard either way.
Makes sense. I'm just saying because they redid our road last year and that was enough noise.
Yes.
That was on the road.
Well,
Upstairs.
Edward
second floor.
Jones, we had to do like sound mitigation in the building walls because of the classes at the Hubbard Activity Center were disrupting like their meetings. So I'm not sure. I could reach out to the financial advisor at Edward Jones and see if he has an estimate on that.
That might just give you a better timeline. But otherwise, this is really great information and I can follow how you got there. Does anybody have questions or suggestions, thoughts? Oh, they are tracking with us. Very good. If you have any further thoughts, you can always tell Abby. You can tell me too, but Abby knows the budget, so I'm gonna let that be there. All right, moving on to number 3, request for CDA event sponsorship assistance for $1,500 and Stone Horse Green programming for $500. Strolling Middleton Jazz Festival, Stone Horse Green, September 9th, 2023. And Abby, can you go over this and let us know if we need a motion?
Yes, I think we would need a motion on this. This is our annual request for the Strolling Middleton Jazz Festival. This year they're having it on Saturday, September 9th. It's primarily at the Stone Horse Green. That was based on feedback they got from Visit Middleton when they applied for their grant. They thought that they should try to be more consistent from year to year on the event. And this is one where we had originally shown 2,000 in event sponsorship, but when the CDA decided to provide funding to the DMBA, we kind of reconfigured where different amounts of money would come from, and we reduced the event sponsorship for this event to $1,500, and then just said we would fund the rest through the Stone Horse Green programming budget to get them still to the 2,000. That's consistent with how we funded other events. They're bringing in the same headliner who was here last year. Her name is Dee Alexander. She's out of Chicago, and we had such a cold and dreary and rainy weekend last year that Dee was disappointed and really wanted to play and liked the space a lot. So the Art Lit Lab and I talked about it and decided to invite her back. So
Awesome. That's great. All right, do I have a motion for the $1,500 plus $500?
Yeah, this is Katie. I'll move approval of the $1,500 and the $500 from Stone Horse programming.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
This is Kari, I would second.
Okay, great. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the sponsorship assistance for $1,500 from the CDA event sponsorship and the Stone Horse Green programming for $500 for the Strolling Middleton Jazz Festival, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Moving on to feedback on downtown planter designs. Kari, I think this was yours? No, that was the water one. Okay, sorry. Let's see here. It says at the March CDA meeting, the committee wanted us to review the August meeting agenda. The planters again in August, and you have a picture for us. Fantastic.
Yep, so we had a lot of conversations about revising the design, and the CDA selected the 3 different alternating designs. So these pictures were taken just a couple days ago, and this is what they look like now. The only other thing that I have to add to this actually just came up today because I was having lunch at Sopra, and I noticed in their planters in the front, each one is individually designed, and there's a little card, and Zamira Lumani, who is the part owner of Sopra, is also doing planter design and installation. And she's got like 9 clients, she mentioned. And so when we look to do the work next year, we might want to consider reaching out to her as well and asking her if she'd like to submit a cost estimate for her to do the planter work.
This
I
is
love that
Kari.
idea.
I'm sorry, Katie.
No, Kari, you go.
I would really support that. I started following her on Instagram, and I think I don't know if we need to bid it out or how we need to work it, but I think that would be really cool. And her stuff is beautiful.
Okay, great. And I'm trying to recall what they used to look like. I'm kind of am thinking of mums.
Last year, we only just had petunias.
Petunias. Okay,
Like the whole thing was petunias,
very good.
all solid one color.
I do like the depth of the colors, you know, like the different textures and the different styles. I am not a flower person, so I'm going to stop with that. Does anyone else have any thoughts?
Katie has her hand raised.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hi, Katie.
Just that, hi, I just think that the scale is so much better now with the large plants in the middle. It used to be that the pots are way too big for the little tiny petunias just crawling over the top. You know, so it seems a little more balanced now. Ultimately, I wish we had little miniature trees in there that could stay, but there's not enough soil room in the pots, right? Right,
Yeah,
Abby?
because
They're dummy.
they're only like a foot deep.
Yeah,
They look like they're 4 feet deep, but they're a foot deep.
yeah, but this helped a lot. So great job.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, Katie. Thank you. Do you need any other feedback? Because I can tell that they were wanting in winter, they wanted a summer opinion, so that looks great. And more options, always good. So we could look at who bids next year.
Okay.
Moving on to staff update. Oh, wait, was there any topic that Kari wanted to cover that we didn't cover? Or was that supposed to be under budget?
Turn.
We missed that?
So I actually, in looking at the downtown where we were at so far with the budget. Let me show you that again. The other one. Okay. So I still wanted to check in with our public land staff because they actually handle ordering the materials that we use for the planters. But I actually, just looking at this, was thinking we might be able to fund the cistern now, just given where we're at with the budget, without exceeding the budget this year. Like in the downtown landscape and maintenance line, it looks like, you know, halfway through the year, we've only spent 31%
Oh, I
of
see.
the budget.
And can you explain to me what a cistern is? I think you did the last time, but I cannot recall.
Yes, so when we did the Terrace Avenue reconstruction project in 2010, we funneled all the roof water from that new pavilion that we put in next to Capitol Brewery into an underground cistern that is used to water all the hanging baskets. So there's like little tubes that go up the poles to each one, so that roof water is captured to water the flowers there. But the cistern has a leak in it. And so because of that, it's costing us maintenance because we have to have somebody come out and prime the pump each time that the water level gets below a certain level. So they've had to do that quite a bit.
So we have budget money for 23 that would allow us to fix that? Is that what
I
you're saying?
think we could just do it with the 2023 budget, but I just want to double check the costs with public lands to make sure that there's nothing I missed.
That sounds great. Kari, does that address your concern from earlier? Okay, she says yes. All
Yes,
right,
thank you.
moving on. Oh, Katie, do you have a question or is your hand just low?
Yeah, no, I was just wondering if we needed a motion on that, 'cause if we can just get it going.
Oh, good question. You need a motion?
Let's see, I'm just looking at whether we have an agenda item that would cover that.
No, that's 24.
I don't think so. I think
Okay,
I'll just
but
have to.
you can check on the price and we can come back to it.
Yeah, yep, it's, I know it's 4,895, I believe is the dollar amount. our engineering technician, Tom Weber, had looked into several different options, and this was the one that he was recommending we go with, so. Yeah, so we'll have to bring that back.
Great question. Thank you, Katie. All right, moving on to staff update on the 2023 events and event coordinator at Stone Horse Green.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that our new Stone Horse Green consultant is doing a wonderful job, and I think I mentioned to you all when we were first talking about her contract that she on the side is also an Elvis impersonator.
Oh, yeah.
And I suggested that she find a good date to perform. And so if you haven't met Melissa yet, you can meet Melvis on, let's see, next Wednesday for an extension of summer fun. It also happens to be the date of Elvis's death. So she'll be performing the Aloha from Hawaii album.
I just jumped in on this call also.
Oh, Melissa, hi.
I came in a little late, sorry.
No worries. I didn't even know you're coming. So hello. This is the CDA. So we have a few members here in person at City Hall and then the rest on the Zoom here.
Okay. Yeah, I was copied on that email, so I thought I would just join the meeting and see what everything was talking about. So
yeah, so Melissa, not to put you on the spot here, but we were just going over the just kind of an update on what's going on the event calendar and what's happening at Stone Horse Green. Do you want to take it on?
well, all the rest of the events for summer fun are happening next week. As you say, starting with Elvis, that Elvis show next Wednesday, which because of all the stuff happening in Hawaii, I was thinking of doing like a little tribute to Hawaii or get tips to send to some, charity that's happening in Hawaii right now, because that's kind of a bad naming, bad timing. So, but yeah, and then there's Lilies of the Midwest. They're like an Irish band playing next Thursday, and the Orchestra Sal Sol playing on next Saturday. And yeah, that's kind of the finish of the summer fun series. And I'm still working on fall and winter events, but hopefully that should be should get that going by next week. So there'll be like trivia nights will be coming back, some movie nights, and Light the Green and the Stroll and Jazz like you were just talking about. So
And trivia will be Thursday nights in
September, I was thinking, but it does kind of conflict. I was thinking, I don't know if I should have it correspond with the 21st. There's a like sip and stroll in Middleton. So that might not be a trivia night.
yeah.
Anyway.
That's the new name for the wine walk that they have downtown.
Mm-hmm. So just trying to figure out what to do for that, if anything, but probably no trivia that night.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway. But I don't want to take up too much of your time because.
Well, Melissa, this is Katie Nelson. I'm super happy to have you on board. And I just wanted to say, if Abby talks to you about a Gilmore Girls marathon at Stone Horse Green, listen to her.
So
A marathon, yeah.
Katie, Melissa, independently of me ever mentioning this being like our Stars Hollow, independently was like, hey, what kind of Gilmore Girls festivals can we do? And I was like, oh my gosh, Katie Nelson is gonna get along so well with you. This is great.
Oh my God, when did we build the maze?
Yeah, right. I'm not up to date on that show, but I just know there's like the troubadour and the lights and all the different things. Sorry,
I mean, we're living it. We're living it.
Yeah, so we gotta brainstorm some stuff we can do there.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Just the interruption.
Sounds like pure joy.
Our next CDA meeting is actually just gonna be watching clips from Gilmore Girls to get inspiration.
call it brainstorming. It'll be awesome. Future agenda items, right? Isn't that supposed to be a thing now? We can just, probably wasn't supposed to say that. All right, so any other questions for, now I'm just gonna call you Melvis. This is really bad. For Melissa, thank you for joining us. And I will try my best to come on Wednesday. I wrote it down. So I know you'll be out of country, so enjoy your trip.
Thank you.
And everyone, I hope you have a wonderful night. I am going to adjourn and have a good one.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.